The Coffin by Ray Bradbury, as read by J. L. Russell. In this scene, Richard Brayling is wrestling to figure out a riddle left by his hated older brother Charles, who has recently departed. The riddle was left as a clue to where in his home Charles hid a very large sum of money in order to taunt Richard. What could this blasted riddle mean? 15 men on a dead man's chest. On a dead man's chest. Richard broke into a wide grin. Dead man's chest! He bolted down the stairs, taking them three at a time, the riddle's answer propelling him along. Plan to take it all with you, eh? Well, sorry, Charles, but this needs looking into. Rushing into his brother's workshop, Richard eagerly snatched up the radio controller for the shiny new automated coffin his brother had recently designed and completed. Secret compartment for the loot. Automated coffin, indeed. Now this coffin begins to make sense. He stabbed the red open button on the controller. The glass lid hissed like a snake as it unlocked and opened wide. Open sesame! Richard exclaimed gleefully. Scrambling over the rim and into the coffin, he began to prod the inside walls on hands and knees. There, he thought. A small section of the satin lining bulged slightly. A quick yank, and the lining gave way, revealing bundle after bundle of crisp notes of very large denomination. He began tearing open the bundles and sat back, showering himself with what his brother's lawyer had told him was in excess of $1.5 million. Whooping and kicking his heels up like a child, he spotted a small handwritten sign at the coffin's head. Place body in coffin. Music will begin automatically. Wait. All right, Charles, I'll be your guest. Music while I count my money. As he lay down in the coffin, humming and happily resuming his money shower, organ music began to emanate from the sides of the coffin from unseen speakers. And then, a voice. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here on this sad day to pay our respects to one who will be sorely missed from the center of our lives. Why, that's Charles's voice. The old son of a gun's delivering a funeral sermon on himself. In his life, he was a cad, a villain, and a layabout fiend. Ooh, good heavens, he didn't think much of himself, did he? So it is with great relief that we finally say goodbye. Oh, yes, goodbye, goodbye. Richard laughed mockingly through the crisp raindrops of his money shower. To this awful man. Yes, awful. Richard Brayling. Richard froze, his eyes widening in surprise at hearing the disembodied voice of his dead brother speak his name. Yes, Richard Brayling. The glass lid of the coffin hissed again, closing and locking on Richard. That's the wrong name. Yes, indeed. Surprise, surprise. Now stop it, Charles. That's enough of this joke. You always were a curious devil, Richard. I counted on that. If a bottle read drink me, you drank it. If a box read eat me, you ate whatever was in the box. And if a box contained maybe some loot, well, I just knew that if I put instructions in the coffin to start music playing, place body in coffin, you couldn't resist playing the body. Playing dead. Well played, Richard. Well done. Richard, gasping, roughly loosened his tie and began pawing at the edges of the coffin lid, desperate to be free of this trap laid out by his hated brother. Enough. On with the funeral. Now stop it, Charles. Enough. Stop it. Stop it. The coffin had grown wheels magically, and now a small motor whirred to life, propelling Richard down a small ramp and through a trapdoor in the wall to the outside. Born in 1935, my brother Richard, some 20 years my junior, never was, never would be anything but a pest, a bother, a borrower, and never a lender. The coffin veered to the left as it exited the house and began its march to the cemetery grounds. Richard's mouth moved soundlessly, and he was only vaguely aware that he'd begun to chew on a crisp pound note in his panic. He is well out of this world.
Charles!
The coffin thudded softly from its wheels to rest on a patch of bare, open ground amid the mud and the rain-soaked headstones. Small, almost delicate silver shovels sprouted from all sides of the coffin. We celebrate his passing.
No! No!
Richard screamed at his dead brother, pummeling the glass coffin top, beside himself with terror. Ashes to ashes, and dust to dust, dear brother. In the rain, the shovels began to dig. The Coffin by Ray Bradbury, as read by